Well, good afternoon, everyone. I certainly want to thank you all for joining us here today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Terry French, and I'm the Mayor of Conception Bay South. And as you can see from looking around, this is certainly not our traditional-looking press conference or news announcement that we'd have. We've normally would have a number of community partners and businesses invited and community groups and so on. But because of the situation we're in, of course, we have the physical distance, and we're doing a fine job of it by the look around the room. I'd certainly like to take this opportunity to welcome today's guest speakers. First of all, I'm delighted to have here, and it's not his first time, I might add, the Honourable Derek Bragg, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Environment. Thank you, sir, for coming. Ken McDonald, our Member of Parliament for Avalon. Certainly Ken's no stranger to here. And Barry Pettin, our MHA for Conception Bay South, is here as well. I'd also like to acknowledge my council colleagues who are here. Councillor Hillier, Councillor Bursey, Councillor Tilley, and Councillor Butler. So again, thanks very much. And I know I just heard from the Deputy Mayor who couldn't be here, unfortunately. And I guess some of our councillors, of course, have full-time commitments and couldn't make it. I also want to welcome our MHA's Ottenheimer, who is on the west of our district, and MHA Din, who's on the east end of our district. So thanks very much for coming. With a population of approximately 27,000 people, Conception Bay South is the second largest municipality in Newfoundland and Labrador. As a growing town on the edge of nature, our municipality offers a unique blend of rural living amongst urban amenities. And we are a community of choice for families wanting to establish long-term roots here in our province. We believe it's our unique mix of urban and rural living that sets us apart from other places. Our amazing ocean views, incredible sunsets, and closeness to nature makes CBS a serene environment to live and to work. During these difficult times, CBS' tranquil surroundings have provided a peaceful haven to many. And just the other morning, I was listening to an interview of a gentleman who came, I'll call it, from Upper Canada, and decided to pick Newfoundland and Labrador as a place to live. And he decided to move here a couple of days before Snowmageddon, believe it or not. And then he was at the tail end of the COVID-19, and so the interview was going along, and he was telling everybody, you know, they were talking all about the difficulties of living in Newfoundland and all the hazard it is. And so when they ended they said, well, you got to have some good things about moving to Newfoundland. And one of the first things he said was seeing the sunset from Topsail Beach. And I thought, wow, that's something we take for granted every day from different vantage points here in our town. And it was nice to know that someone from away, if you will, could come and enjoy our little piece of the earth and think how nice it was. We have many exciting ventures happening in our vibrant downtown core, an area that already includes a variety of retail, civic, recreational, educational, and professional services. Downtown CBS is at the heart of our retail and commercial business sector. The Downtown Business Improvement Association is an organization of businesses, owners, focused on building civic pride and promoting the overall marketability of downtown CBS. Over the past few years, wider sidewalks have been installed by the association as one initiative to improve pedestrian safety while connecting trailway users to the commercial core. The association also recently launched a digital marketing campaign, and coupled with a branded signage strategy, is creating a sense of identity for the area and encouraging residents and visitors to support local. The town is proud of their efforts and look forward to continued partnership opportunities. As you can see, a lot is happening in our downtown core. You may not be aware that this exact location has been designated as the future community park location in Conception Bay South, a park that has been highly anticipated for quite some time. The area is scenic, it has lots of green space open for public use, signage, picnic tables, and a beautiful view of the ocean. Today's important announcement is going to further develop Conception Bay South. Our vision of being a family-oriented community of choice and help turn this green space into a beautiful, inclusive community park. With that being said, I would now like to call on Minister Bragg to say a few words. Minister.
Thank you very much, Mayor French, and it is It's great. I like to say it's a great day to be here, but it's always a great day to be anywhere in Newfoundland. That's what I like to think. And when you speak so highly of your community, I know most of us feel the same about our communities. But this is a project today that we're taking part in that I guess is more for the younger generation, I would think. And so it's a great day, as I said before. MP McDonald was there to bring his greetings today. Barry is there. Barry, this will be the main part of your district. I'm thinking CBS and everybody else got a piece of CBS. So I'm fortunate enough in my district to have 45 communities. You're lucky enough to have 45 MHAs. So this has been a challenging time, as the mayor alluded to, where the social distancing, the being comfortable, the non-handshaking is a little bit of a different time. So I guess today to be here to make an announcement of this magnitude for this town is pretty important, because in the year or so it's going to take to develop it, I would hope that it can become a use where you can spend time that's together. So today, this is a collaborative adventure between provincial, federal government, and the municipal government, and we're from what I can see here, we're pretty well equal partners in this. So when we can come together as equal partners to do something that's a $3 million investment for this municipality, I think is a great move on all our part. And I applaud the town council, and as you alluded to, Mayor, most of your council are here, and you guys, I thank you for what you put into this, because I like to think that as MHAs, we get paid for what we take, but you guys take it every day on the chin. Whenever you gas up, whenever you get groceries, everybody know who you are. So I thank you guys for the work you've done and the initiative to do this, because this is going to be an all-inclusive playground, a dual recreation, and a sort of small one that said splash pad / ice rink, and I wasn't sure which season we would have either one of those, to be honest. So, but it's going to be a great facility. We have washrooms, a stage here, a walking trail. So much as I would like to think is going to cater to the younger generations, it's going to cater to all generations. So that's another draw card for anybody. I know you do some advertising for your town to encourage people to come here. Only recently, Mayor John talking about the permit structure and the attracting people here. So this is something else. We like to think in rural Newfoundland, what do we have to attract people? We have the quietness, but you guys have the hustle and bustle. But this will give you sort of a little bit of a quietness and a place for some people to escape. And I love the setup of CBS, because it's almost like everybody asks me about regional government. This is probably the best example of what you can do when everybody get together and regionalize. And this is, CBS is a force to be reckoned with. Off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to say what your population is, but you probably rival Mount Pearl? 27,000? So don't put this in the notes, but I think you're more than Mount Pearl. So for a town to be more than the city, and through that, we're doing incorporation of our municipal legislation, Municipalities Act, which will reflect what you guys have done and where you can go in the future. So I thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. I'm sort of looking through and see what the funding is, and I alluded earlier, it's a $3 million project. My notes tell me that the provincial contribution that is $906,000, and the municipal contribution is going to be $906,000. There's some tax rebates involved in that. I'll leave it up to the federal MP to tell you what their involvement is, but I guess I sort of stole the show by saying this is a $3 million investment for this municipality. So thank you guys. I look forward to, I'm a fan of walking. I mean, walking trails are something that I do often, and I look forward to seeing this come through its full extent and success for this town. So thank you very much. Mayor, thank you very much. Mr. Penton and MHAs for the rest of the district, thank you guys very much. And Mr. MC, I guess is up to you, or do I call it Mr. McDonald? I'm not sure, because I didn't get those notes. I'm used to emceeing things, see, not being the person coming forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. I certainly want to speak on behalf of council colleagues and all residents when I say thank you for the support government has shown us. And just as an aside, when we were into Snowmageddon, myself and the minister were texting on a daily basis, if not some days multiple times throughout the day, staying in touch with us and finding out how we were doing and how he could be of assistance. And I certainly appreciated that then, and I know our residents certainly do as well. And I want to warn you up front, usually anybody comes to Conception Bay South, and I can speak for the MP and the MHA, we always have tea and crumpets. Not only Government House has tea and crumpets, but we do too. And, but unfortunately, because of COVID-19, you're going to have to go hungry today, and you can make your own sandwich at home. But again, thanks very much for coming. This park will embody Council's vision as being a family-oriented community that provides a safe and healthy environment. Specifically, the $3 million Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program funding will be used towards a dual recreation surface, which will be a splash pad in the summer and an ice rink in the winter. Plus, it can also substitute for other sports should we want to have basketball nets at each end in the spring and fall. A building facility which will include bathrooms, a stage which will be an integral part for future events and entertainment. Certainly gives us another place to showcase the arts community here in Conception Bay South, and indeed from across the province. We'll have a paved parking lot off Bishops Road, a trail, and an inclusive swing set and playground. The town of Conception Bay South is committed to building a more inclusive and equitable town. We strive to be accepting and welcoming to all, and we value diversity. Having an inclusive, safe place where all children can play is a very important feature of our future community park, and it's something that we are very proud of. Council believes that everyone, especially every child, should be given equal opportunity. With respect to width and slope, this park will have a trailway specifications that adhere to service guidelines for accessibility. The transition from one surface to the next will be as seamless as possible. There will be a rubber pad surfacing throughout the entire park to make all play areas, including the splash pad, fully accessible. The community park will be completed in phases, with phase 1 and 2 set for completion next year. I would like again to thank the Department of Municipal Affairs and Environment for your constant commitment to help our town and our residents. I would like to also thank MP McDonald and MHA Pettin, who have both done notable work here in our community. In particular, commitments that made to see this park become a reality. So without further ado, I'd now like to call on our MP, Mr. Ken McDonald, to say a few words. Ken.
Thank you, Mayor French. And it's funny you mentioned about the commitment to the park. I think it was probably a year and a half ago you called and wanted to get together and talk about some priorities. And so when I met with yourself and members of council and probably some town staff, one of the things we highlighted was the fact that Conception Bay South is the second largest municipality in the province, but doesn't have a community park. And I think it was then we kind of realised that it's something that we got to make happen, is to get an actual Conception Bay South Community Park. And Minister Bragg, we've been ahead of Mount Pearl in population for quite some time, actually, in Conception Bay South. They'll never catch us because they're kind of boxed in. Like, they got nowhere to go only up. And I don't know if they got the height restrictions in Mount Pearl, because I see a lot of people come from Mount Pearl that haven't got much height. So I don't think they allow things to get too tall in there. But yeah, we are ahead of them. We're not a city, of course. I think we like the sound of being the largest town in Newfoundland and Labrador versus being the second largest city. So we don't like finishing second any time either. So it's good. It's a pleasure to be here with both yourself and Mayor French and the other MPs, of course, Barry and Paul and Ms. Conway Ottenheimer, as I know they work hard for their areas of Conception Bay South as well, and they've got a lot of communities in their ridings that spreads out. Paul got it the easiest, but Barry got the easiest. He only got Conception Bay South. Paul got Paradise and Conception Bay South, and Helen, of course, got a drove of communities and a little piece of Conception Bay South. I outdo them all in communities, right? And you mentioned about COVID changing things. Like, I'm getting bored now on weekends, because normally on a weekend I could be in Trepassey on a Friday night, or I could be in St. Bride's Saturday night, and maybe somewhere else Sunday afternoon, then beat it to the airport and get on a plane and go back to Ottawa. But now there's none of that. All of that is cut out. Like, no garden parties. I missed the Point Lance Garden Party, the best garden party in the province, and everybody should go to it. They raise approximately about $60,000 on that weekend for a little community of 100 and something people. But the fishermen in the community donate all the prizes. And they have one spin wheel, it's a $5 wheel, and you win an iPad or an Apple Watch or everything, and they really go all out. So if anybody ever wants to take in a garden party, it'd be in Point Lance. And some people probably don't know how to find it, but it is my pleasure, of course, to be here today on behalf of the Honourable Catherine McKenna, Minister of Infrastructure and Communities, and of course, as I mentioned, with Minister Derek Bragg and His Worship Mayor Terry French. These are unprecedented times. Canadians and people around the world have been impacted by COVID-19. Here in Conception Bay South certainly is no exception. I think this is the perfect time to recognise the hard work and dedication of our essential workers here in our town. Our fire department, ambulance services, our town workers who allowed all municipal services to continue throughout the pandemic. Even the people in the grocery stores, the corner store. I'd be lost without Redbridge Variety just around the corner. I mean, if you ran out of eggs or a loaf of bread or whatever, you just dart up there and get it, and they're open all the way through it. They got somebody working, they put up the screens, the whole work. So a lot of people have done a fantastic job, and for people like the ambulance operators and the fire department, I mean, they haven't missed a beat. And I know, because I hear it going past my door. Woo, woo, woo. And then 10 minutes later, another one, right? They're busy people, and they're doing a fantastic job. While the situation with the virus is still evolving, all levels of government in Canada are taking decisive action. That's why I'm so excited to be here for today's announcement. And today I'm very pleased to announce that the Government of Canada will contribute more than $907,000, so I beat the two buckos on each side of me, for a new outdoor park in Conception Bay South. The construction of this new park is great news for the community, as it will provide a place for residents and families to connect and stay active. For so many families in Conception Bay South, this park is a long time coming. We know that towns like ours only grow when we invest in infrastructure and recreational facilities, and of course water and sewer and other infrastructure that enables a community to build more homes and more businesses, because these are the things that make a community strong and vibrant. I know that my grandkids are going to love this facility when it is completed, and I look forward to us as residents of this town having a place where young and old can get outside and be active 12 months of the year. And Minister, you mentioned the ice rink and the splash pad. Well, a good northeasterly wind in July, the splash pad may actually serve as a skate for some of the people if it blows hard enough in the right direction. I'm also pleased with the recent project funding, of course, of upgrades for Anchorage Road, where the Government of Canada will be providing $302,000 of a $906,000 project. Our government is working closely with municipalities, partners and stakeholders to get projects built quickly. Projects that make a positive difference in the lives of Canadians in these trying times. We're making investments to grow the economy and create good jobs, improve people's quality of life and protect the environment. Through our historic investment in Investing in Canada plan, we are delivering on our promise to build sustainable, resilient communities. Here in Newfoundland and Labrador, we have invested more than $486 million to our infrastructure plan towards more than 540 projects across the province. Projects that are strengthening the communities where we all live, work, and raise our families. Your health and safety remain our top priority, but we recognise strong investments in infrastructure will help create jobs and stabilise the economy. This is critical to our country's recovery as we move forward and build our future. Together, we will improve the well-being of all Canadians, one project at a time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken, once again for your help throughout. And of course, without further ado, I'm now going to call on another guy who's been an anchor for us on this project, the fellow who's been tormenting the minister, no doubt, from time to time, throwing barbs back and forth across the house anyway, at the very least, hey, back and forth, for having some fun in the house. But I'd like to call upon MHA Barry Pettin to say a few words.
Thank you, Mayor. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here today. And as you rightly said, Jamie, and Minister Bragg, we have many debates. We get along actually all right, but I can't say I get along with everyone across the way, but we have a lot of spirited debates. But welcome to CBS, and it usually is sunny up here. I don't know what happened today, but unfortunately, maybe the town picked the wrong day, but it usually is sunny up here. So the community park, I mean, this community park, it's something that, I mean, as MHA, I mean, we knock doors, all us knock doors, politicians do when we campaign. And the community park became a rallying cry. Like I remember back in my first term, the police station became something that people talked about. Outside the roads, the obvious infrastructure. So the community park was something that residents made loud and clear to me, especially young families, as the minister rightly pointed out. They wanted something for their children, they wanted something to go, they wanted open spaces. And it was something that I committed that I would lobby and advocate with the town, the federal government, of course the province, to make it a reality. And because I feel that we need a focal point, the town needs a centerpiece. Like as a town of our size with no park, as rightly was just stated, I was always amazed by that. So this park, I think, will do that. It will be that centerpiece that brings us all together, for especially families. It's placed, and it's badly needed. And I think most councillors in this room and my colleagues will tell you the same thing. It's an issue in all young families. I mean, that's our communities. We're in the most growth area in the province in the Northeast Avalon, and that is a huge issue, and I'm glad it's being addressed. And I'd be remiss, I guess, I want to acknowledge MP McDonald, the federal government's chair, and Mayor French and councillors, of course, for their input and involvement. But if I never probably single out Minister Bragg, because back last late winter, early spring, I guess, he approached me on there's a list of list of projects they were submitting, and town at this, and they're back for the feds. And it was, the community park was on the list, and I mean, we had a lot of constructive debates and conversations, and to his credit, and as if people don't realize, we're different colors, we're different stripes in the house, so it's not a normal thing. So I want to acknowledge that. I think it should be pointed out that the minister did engage me into the conversation of, where the money should go, and it was a collaborative approach, of course, to get in the park. So I do want to thank him for that, because that's not normally the course of action in our politics, unfortunately, but that's the reality. So I want to thank him personally for that, and I really do appreciate it. And of course, my colleagues, Paul Dinn, MHA Dinn, and Conway Ottenheimer, we also have had conversations about this park and the need for it in the town. So I couldn't be happier. It's, I look forward when it becomes a reality and when we go up and enjoy it. And I think it's going to be well received by the people in the town. And I thank everyone involved. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Barry, for your assistance on this. As part of Council's strategic vision, we aim to foster an environment that promotes business, residential, tourism development. Over the last couple of years, we have put a heavy investment into tourism attraction and our residential marketing campaigns. And a new, inclusive park for families and visitors is a much-needed asset for our town. Developing a community park has been on Council's agenda from the very beginning. And when we sat down as a council way back, it was something we all realized was something we had to have. We're delighted to see it coming to fruition to further enhance the quality of life for our residents and continue to enhance our vision to become the community of choice. A concept plan for the park has been designed and work officially begins this summer. If you haven't already had a chance to look at the design, it's right here in front of you on both sides. I welcome you to do so after this announcement. In conclusion, this park is going to be another great addition to our town. We are very happy that our government partners have decided to invest right here in Conception Bay South. So once again, thank you very much. And I want to thank you all very much for coming here this afternoon to spend this great day with us. Even though it's raining outside, it's still a great day here in Conception Bay South for us, with great news and a nice funding announcement. So without further ado, I'll just a message for the media. We're going to do socially distance a ribbon cutting. I don't know how we were going to social distance the shovel turning, sod turning, but that was the plan in place for that too. But we're going to physical distance a ribbon cutting here now, and then we'll be available to take some questions, all the invited guests here in front. So again, thanks very much for coming. There you go.